It's also a great day to live in the greatest country on earth, the United States of America. And all week, we've seen and heard maybe a lot more than we ever should about what separates us and what makes us different and our differing opinions. But on this beautiful campus, on this glorious Saturday, you'll see 102,000 plus in the 8th largest stadium in the world, from different economic backgrounds, political backgrounds, religious backgrounds, you name it, all coming together for one thing. And that's to kick Georgia's ass.
Man, it pulls everybody together, doesn't it?
I know Pat McAfee likes to be goofy. I know Pat McAfee doesn't like to take things too serious. But in the rare moments that Pat McAfee decides to be serious, he is a great motivational speaker. The heartfelt message that he delivered yesterday morning on College Game Day, that was exactly what the country needed. And Reese Davis is right. Sports are supposed to bring everyone together. I have been to countless playoff games in both the NFL and the NBA. One of the most magical environments in the country, it's unmatched, is downtown New Orleans before a playoff game. There's just something about New Orleans that you can't describe. Bourbon Street is packed. Kids are on the street playing drums with a set of buckets. There's a man on the corner playing the hell out of the saxophone. Walking to the Superdome, you cross over Canal as you make your way to Poydras Street. You are one of thousands and thousands of people who in that moment are in 100% agreement. No one is talking politics. No one is talking about the indoctrination centers known as colleges and universities. No one is stressing over bills. We're not talking about the housing crisis. For those 3 hours, everyone is unified. This is the magic of sports. It's the reason it is imperative that the fungus of politics is never allowed to invade our sports leagues again. The NFL, NBA, Major League Baseball, the NHL, high school games on Friday nights, college football on Saturday, college basketball in March, the Masters in April. I'll even make the Dingleberry Divers happy and include WrestleMania in this. They all have one thing in common. UNITY. But there is one league in this country that has a long history of being divisive. Ironically enough, this league claims to be all about unity. Pretend basketball is for everyone except white people. As you guys know, I have never hidden my disdain for the WNBA dump. There is a reason I am more critical of the WNBA than any other league. There is a reason I have been highlighting this disease of a league for years now. When I started talking about the WNBA 4 or 5 years ago, hardly anyone else was talking about it. This dump was so irrelevant, they were being ignored by their pretend friends in the mainstream media. The main reason I cannot stand the WNBA, besides the fact that the product is a flaming ass fire, watching pretend basketball is painful. It's like having a critical case of the burning, drizzling shits. But the main reason I can't stand this league, it is a league built on division. It is a league built on pretend victims claiming to be oppressed. Hell, this dump of a league, it's built on make-believe. Since we lost Charlie Kirk on Wednesday, I've noticed an eerie silence throughout the WNBA. We talked about this same silence the other day on the second channel with the woke stars at ESPN. Anytime something major happens in politics or culture, WNBA players are eager to give their unwanted and often uninformed opinions. But with Charlie Kirk, it seemed like the diva of dump divas, Kat Engelbert. It seemed like the cat got the tongue of WNBA players until Friday afternoon. Natasha Cloud finally broke her silence. With the WNBA playoffs starting today, you would think Natasha Cloud would have been busy this weekend practicing. If you have ever watched this dump of a league, doesn't take you very long to realize that WNBA players need more practice. But instead of spending the weekend practicing, Natasha Cloud spent the day on Friday insinuating that Charlie Kirk was responsible for his own death. If Kathy Engelbert, and notice I am using her government name, I'm not referring to her as Kat because I am serious when I say this. If Kathy Engelbert wants the WNBA to survive, Natasha Cloud should be suspended for the playoffs. And Kathy Engelbert should even consider kicking Natasha Cloud out of the league. Make sure to like and subscribe. You can follow me on Twitter at KC_BTL84. Like I said, one of the reasons the WNBA has struggled for decades, the league has alienated the vast majority of the country. When your on-court product is already substandard, you can't do things like worshiping at the altar of George Floyd or sitting out the entire season to preach the good word and spread the woke faith across the country. Saying things like, until Black Lives Matter, all lives cannot matter. It's hard to attract a mainstream audience to pretend basketball when you're using the WNBA platform, when you're allowed to use the WNBA platform to spread the myth of systemic racism, or present the brave men and women who protect the streets across America as oppressors by spreading the myth of police brutality. It's hard to attract a mainstream audience when you organize a movement to kick a team owner out of the WNBA because she had the audacity to oppose the BLM movement. Kelly Loeffler, former partial owner of the Atlanta Dreamers, she was trying to help you. She was trying to convince you that turning the polished turd into a shrine of mythical racism was not the way to generate profit. And what do? You organize a movement to get an opposing viewpoint kicked out of the WNBA. Or, as deacons at Woke United Methodist would call it, removing the evil colonizer. If you want to attract a mainstream audience, you can't publish articles in the Players Tribune where you accuse people of being on the side of the oppressor. Who is the oppressor? In most cases, it's the white man or the white woman. It's over 60% of the American population. I would imagine it's hard to generate profit when you're alienating over half the country. And when those white men and women finally decide to give pretend basketball a chance, when Caitlin Clark brings an entirely new fan base, when Caitlin Clark brings an actual fan base to this league, because before Caitlin Clark, no one, and I mean no one, was exposing themselves to this garbage. When Caitlin Clark brings a fan base to the league, when people are finally willing to spend money to watch this substandard product, what do? You call them racist. All of these examples I just gave you, these were all driven by Natasha Cloud. That alone should have been enough to have Natasha Cloud removed from the WNBA. But Casey, that's impossible. They have a union. The league is powerless. Oh, yeah? The NFL has a union too, but somehow it took, less than 6 months for Colin Kaepernick to be blackballed for life. If the WNBA operated like an actual business instead of a charitable tax write-off for the NBA, Natasha Cloud would have been kicked out of the league years ago because Natasha Cloud is bad for business. That's not my opinion, it's a fact. How many people are buying tickets to see Natasha Cloud? How many people even know who Natasha Cloud is? If this wasn't enough for Kathy Engelbert to take action, what happened over the weekend should be more than enough. Over the weekend, Natasha Cloud was doing what she does best. She was perfectly illustrating why America has always rejected the WNBA. Check it out for yourself. For starters, I find it ironic that Natasha Cloud is accusing someone of being a lonely man. If you have ever listened to Natasha Cloud speak, and to her credit, Natasha Cloud is an excellent speaker. I don't agree with what she says, but Natasha Cloud is an eloquent public speaker. But I find it ironic that she is accusing some random dude of being a lonely man. Because if you've ever heard the sound of her voice, it is painfully obvious that Natasha Cloud is desperately trying to sound like a lonely man. As you can see, Natasha Cloud is insinuating that Charlie Kirk is somehow responsible for his own demise. Because Charlie Kirk was a defender of the Second Amendment, Natasha Cloud wants you to believe that he lobbied to be shot in public. Let me ask you something. If someone said this same thing about George Floyd, if Clay Travis said this same thing about George Floyd, how would WNBA players react? How would Natasha Cloud react? They would call for Clay Travis to be fired. They would call for Clay Travis to be canceled. So based on their own standards, Natasha Cloud should be kicked out of the WNBA, right? Like I've been telling you guys all week, the time for tolerance is over. From a business perspective, this should be an easy decision for the WNBA. But KC, Natasha Cloud has freedom of speech. Yeah, she does. But the WNBA also has the freedom to do what's best for their business. How is alienating and pissing off over half the country best for business? You know, we talk a lot about Angel Reese here on the channel. I am highly critical of Angel Reese and her dozens of aliases, but my criticism of Angel Reese is mainly based on Angel Reese, the pretend basketball player. Even though I'm critical of her, Angel Reese is good for the WNBA because she gives people someone to be against in a positive way. From the WNBA's perspective, it's okay for people to not like Angel Reese, the player. But to her credit, Angel Reese stays away from political issues, at least for the most part. Yes, she pretends to be the ultimate victim sometimes, but for the most part, Angel Reese is about her business. The only thing Angel Reese cares about is making money. Natasha Cloud prioritizes indoctrination. Natasha Cloud is dedicated to spreading the woke fungus. You don't have to take my word for it. Just ask her. She sat out the entire 2020 season so she could spread the woke faith. And now, she is claiming that an American hero is responsible for his own demise. Like I said, this should be an easy decision for the WNBA to make. Are they going to do anything about it? I highly doubt it. Sound off in the comments below. I'll see you guys later.